Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun.
Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture, because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today.
Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids.
Hi, Mice in Council. A terrifying cat had come to live in a big house. Every time the mice went into a kitchen for a nibble, the cat sent them scampering. "We'll starve!" they shouted, and decided to have a council meeting. One by one, the mice spoke, but no one could think of a plan. Finally, a boastful mouse stepped forward and proclaimed his idea to be done. He explained in detail how a small bell attached to the cat's collar would warn them all of his approach. Patting himself on his own back for the excellent idea, the mouse sat down. This mouse stood up and said, "You are a very clever fellow to think of a plan like that. Now tell us, are you brave enough to put the bell on the cat?" That story teaches us about being brave and not being boastful to others. Hi, I'm RWJ, and today we are reading Jungle Doctor and Slippery Places, Chapter 13, Nightmare. In the shade of his jeep squatted the district engineer and Pili Pili. "Punda is weary," said the latter. "All day she has scooped earth with her nose, carried stones with her teeth, and dug her strength with her back legs. And in 2 days' time," said Samuel Nkono, the engineer, "they want to take hundreds of gallons of fluid that burns with speed and heat into the cooking. It will be in 44-gallon drum. This will be no simple matter. They'll wire the place so that when the plunger is pushed, the dynamite will blow up the enemy. There will be great fire and destruction." "Punda and I have no joy in this part of the work," said Pili Pili. "These small birds are food for the eyes. They build a skill. They do no harm." The engineer grunted. "Open your eyes, Pepperpot. They fly in great tribes over hundreds of miles of our country and eat the food of millions of our people. They may even can invade Kenya and Zaire and Malawi from this spot. If the cooking pot stays filled with hungry birds, the children will go hungry. The strength of many will become small. Disease will conquer the old and the weak, and all will know the bitterness of famine. Do we not both remember the days of the coming of the grasshoppers?" Pili Pili jumps to his feet. "Your mouth is suddenly full of words. I understand very well what we say, but still I draw back from this killing and the way you planned it." Mpono shrugged. "Why not suggest some other way? Who is to die? People or birds? In our plan, small birds will die in the time that it takes to strike a match. At the end comes great suddenness. Not so is the way of poison." As they moved off, Samuel Nkono said, "If we found a way to drive them off from this place, then they would only destroy the crops somewhere else. Suppose we drove them out to the sea? Their death would then be long and cruel." Pili Pili drove the jeep in silence to the game scout's house. Here, as he sought for the engineer to get down, he sighed. "My heart is heavy. There will be no singing on this safari." In half-flight, he drove to where the large yellow machine towered above the reeds. He slapped the rear wheel. "Oh, my Punda! In 2 days we worked hard and well. Rest a while I collect a device shaped like a giraffe neck, which we used to drag out. He jumped to the jeep and drove on round the swamp. Dozens of times, dense clouds of weaver birds flew overhead. Peely Peely groaned. Why are there so many of you? Even today, if each of you had filled their stomach with but 10 grains of millet at many a harvest, and many a family will stomach and will suffer. You weave with skill, but when you and your many relations descend like a hailstorm upon the crops, defend. We do it with sadness, but do it we must. He thought of the 3 nests in the tree at the PWD. The cheeky, friendly little birds had learned to fly down and eat grain from his hat. Never once had they regarded 10 grains as even the beginning of a meal. It grew dark. Frogs and crickets started their nightly duet. Mosquitoes found their way into the jeep. Small birds, muttered Peely Peely. Why don't you change your ideas about food? Eat mosquitoes, not grain. Trees started to meet overhead. He saw her turning off Pununga and Puhari. A deep pothole loomed up ahead. He pushed hard on the brake and swung the wheel. The headlight showed up a hyena, its eyes fixed on something in the shadow. Peely Peely tooted his horn. Then the hyena shambled off while the light showed a body lying beside the road. He stopped with a jerk, jumped down, and looked at the unconscious man. Peely Peely rolled his eyes, his banana pencil in himself. He bent over the ragged figure and gently touched his bruised and swollen face. Truly, your path hath led you into peril today. Half an hour later, Peely Peely gently lured Yakubo onto a sleeping mat in the shed that normally housed Punda. He wrapped him in a blanket, sponged his face, and then walked across the kitchen to make tea. As he boiled the water, a wild-eyed figure staggered toward him. They would kill me. They, gasped Yakubo. He found himself looking into his smiling face. There is no need to fear. It is I, Peely Peely, who makes roads. 2 strong hands guided the dazed man to his door. Lugo seeks my death, muttered Yakubo. He and Dola have taken everything I had, and now they would murder me. Peely Peely handed him a cup of tea. There was a chuckle in his voice. They had small success so far. The life is still within your skin. Take courage and drink this. They must not know that I am here. Yakubo slumped down on the stool, trilling half the pot of tea. I shall not tell them, said Peely Peely as he walked to another shed to collect the equipment he needed. He lashed it to the roof of the jeep. As he tied the last knot, Yakubo walked up looking more like himself. Huskily, he said, my wisdom is small because they hit me on the head with a chair. My life is in danger in this place. I must hide. Peely Peely grinned. Who is to know? Rest and regain strength. The door of Punda's house has a lock that shuts itself. Keep out of sight and make no noise and you will be safe. He walked with Yakubo to the spacious shed, switched on his torch, and pointed to a large gourd on it. See, here is water and food. He wrapped the blanket round Yakubo. Goodbye, and do not forget when the lock clicks, the door is shut. Yakubo watched the headlights disappear. Loneliness seemed to close in on him. His head throbbed, and his whole body ached. He knew this was malaria. As he lay there in misery, he cursed himself for leaving the hospital. At last, he fell into a fitful sleep. He seemed to be back in the ward in his white uniform, holding up a card and saying, "If sinners entice." Dala was coming towards him. With every step, his fine clothes seemed to change color. Out of the shadows came Lugo holding a bag of money. He swung it viciously. Agonizing pain shot through Yakubo's head. With a scream, he sat up. His teeth were chattering. He felt terribly cold. He pulled the blanket over his head and slept it. Yet again, Yakubo screamed. Lugo's voice seemed to chuckle. No escape. No escape. A book opened in front of him. He could see the words, how shall we escape if we neglect such a great salvation? How would he escape? How? Neglect? He had done so much more than neglect. Jacob awoke with the start. There was the sound of cattle being driven into pasture. Light came in through the window. Who sent these words running through his brain? I will get up and go to my father and say, Father, I have sinned both against God and you. I am not fit to be called your son any longer. He set his teeth. He was no prodigal son. He wasn't without money. He wouldn't eat pig. If he'd sinned, what of it? He could look after himself. Why was all this running away, this hiding? He felt much better. It was the fever that did this to him. Who took any notice of Jean? He lay back and slept once again.
Friends with one another, so reading with Joe, the place for all the fun created.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan. Reading with Joan. Bye.